Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Today we want to talk about different types of intelligence. Hello, welcome to channel Lovely Life. This is Mahmoud Karimi sharing his experience and knowledge with you concerning education and especially in raising children. In this part, I like to talk about another type of intelligence that is called verbal intelligence. You know that sometimes there are teachers, their knowledge is good. They have plenty of knowledge. And in fact, their level of information is high. But students do not feel happy in their classes. Students feel tired of their lectures and classes. Why? Because these teachers do not have enough and adequate verbal intelligence. They cannot make children, they cannot make students understand their ideas, understand what they want to communicate to them. So this is a big problem. Sometimes we ourselves also have the same problem. You know that sometimes we talk a lot with another one, and then we want to make him understand our purpose, but our attempt and our effort is futile. Why? Because sometimes, in fact, it refers to the addressee, but sometimes it refers to ourselves, because our level of verbal intelligence is not adequate for that. So we can say that verbal intelligence is the ability to analyze information and solve problems through using language-based reasoning. Now, playing is also effective and influential in raising the level and increasing the level of this type of intelligence. Because children, while playing, are forced to send messages to one another. They should send some concepts to another or communicate some concepts with other children. But a child who is always, in fact, watching television, yes, or always is playing with his mobile, or is always playing some computer games, this kind of child does not have any interaction with other children. We can say he has just a unilateral nature. So how can you expect him to solve his problems through verbal intelligence? Now, these children may have a rich vocabulary, for example, in the language, but they do not know how to use, how to apply this rich vocabulary in solving the problems. You can compare these children to a computer. A computer usually has two important parts. One part is the memory, or we can say is the hard disk and the hard drive. The role and the function of this part is to store the data. But another part which is also important is CPU, or Central Processing Unit. So CPU is very necessary, because if you have enough information, but you do not know how to use it, how to process it, how to relate it to the problem that you expect to solve it, now this information would not benefit you. Then today, our children have this position. Their memory is full, or their memory is almost full, but their processing system is very weak. And that is why they cannot solve their problems. That is why when they are in the society, they cannot deal with the problems that happen to them in the society. They may have information that the older generation or their parents lack, but at the same time, and even sometimes their parents are worried because they do not have such much knowledge. All right? They are worried and they are concerned, but they do not have the power and the ability to process this information, and they cannot use this information for solving their own problems. For example, when a child is 4 years old, it is natural that he should be able to make a harmony between his eyes and his hands. For example, if he is throwing his ball to the air, he should easily catch it. He should be able to easily catch it. But many children cannot do that. Many children are not able to catch it. Why? Because this kind of harmony is not available there. And even sometimes preschoolers do not have this ability and this capability, while they have plenty of information, much information, but little ability, little capability and performance. A child who is 3 or 4 years old, naturally he should be able to wear his socks easily. All right. Most of our children, we should help them wear their socks. So this shows that their level of verbal intelligence is low. When you see two children playing, sometimes there are agitations, sometimes there is nervousness among them. What is the cause? In fact, the cause of this agitation or this nervousness is little interaction, little active interaction of the child with other children, with his peers, low tolerance of others. When there is little interaction, then the result would be low tolerance of these children toward their peers. And the second reason refers to the passive playing. As we said, something like watching television or watching computer games, and also sometimes, improper nourishment or lack of comfortable sleep can also help to make these problems for children. In this part, we want to talk about another type of intelligence, which is called interpersonal intelligence. Interpersonal intelligence is the ability to understand and interact effectively with other people. You know that these types of information are quite related to each other, but they cannot compensate the lack or weakness of other types of intelligence. Therefore, a man should try, also a child should try to raise all types of this intelligence. Sometimes a child has adequate verbal intelligence, but in the social circumstances and social atmosphere, he is not able to solve his problems. Now, through playing, also, we can make this child active, and we can teach this child this kind of intelligence. Because when playing, a child can raise his own wishes, his own demands, and at the same time, he can try to satisfy the wishes of other children. And the teacher or the trainer also has a big role here. In fact, a teacher who leaves the class when he sees some small problems from children, this kind of teacher is not a qualified one, because it shows that he doesn't have enough ability, he doesn't have enough qualification to deal with children and to interact with these 10 or 15 children. So how can he claim that he is a qualified teacher? A qualified teacher tries to solve the problem, not to omit the problem. Therefore, if we want to define interpersonal intelligence, we can say that interpersonal intelligence is the ability to solve social problems through proper communication and interaction. And interpersonal intelligence helps solve our problems in social circumstances. If there are problems between the teacher and students, problems between children and their parents, problems between, daughter-in-law and mother-in-law, problems between employees and employers. What kind of intelligence here is useful? That is interpersonal intelligence. And if you see somebody in an office or in a department always having problems with his colleagues and he doesn't feel comfortable with his colleagues, this shows that his interpersonal intelligence is not high. In our next video, we would talk about 5 other types of intelligence. Try not